Hello and welcome to another GT Sport video. Today we will be driving the Daily Race C on the Autopolis circuit, which is one of my worst circuits in the game. You will see this as my starting position is P18, and we are about half a second off from most of the pack in front of us. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the race and see what happens. The different tire compounds that can be used during this race are Racing Soft and Racing Medium, and we are starting race on Racing Soft. This becomes immediately apparent if you look at the time gap between me and the driver in front and the one behind me. And here is first corner. Is there going to be carnage? One driver is unlucky and we already gain one position. So now we're closing in on the drivers in front. So let's see whether we can take some positions. We're getting quite close now. Approaching the hairpin corner up top. We're taking the outside line, as some of these drivers are battling it out among themselves, but we don't really seem to be able to grab a position. We give the French driver a little bump. Unfortunately, because of the updated penalty system from Gran Turismo, we don't really get killed immediately. So we still stay close on the tail of the drivers in front of us. Another driver went off right there, so we have another position that we gained. So now we're at the end of lap 1, and although we didn't overtake anyone yet, because of two drivers going off, we already gained 2 positions. So entering the second lap, we can overtake the French driver, but we are still next to each other right here and we're not really completely through yet. So we take the defensive line in this corner, and now we are completely through. We have secured P15. So let's fast forward a little bit. So here we get to the start-finish straight, and already one driver is going into the pit. So going into the third lap, we are approaching the Spanish driver and manage to overtake him coming out of the first corner. At the end of lap 3 then, we end up behind this Indian driver, and we get almost pushed off. We brake a little later, so we get the inside and we overtake him. Then we end up behind this French driver who has a half a second penalty, but we're still having to defend on the Indian driver behind us. So we're next to each other right now. I'm going all the way up to the inside. We get a small bump, but we still manage to hold on to our position in this corner. In the meantime, we have already gone to P12 by now. So approaching the hairpin corner here, I go to the outside as I stupid enough didn't defend, but the Spanish driver in the Mitsubishi managed to get through very cleanly as I didn't take that corner very well. We still managed to stay on his tail though, and at the end of lap 4 I decided it's enough on the soft tire and I go in for a tire change on the medium. So there we go. Medium tire on, 6 laps to go, and we come out of the pit in P17. At the end of the 5th lap, apparently some other drivers are going in for a tire change as well, and we end up in P14. However, this is where the defense starts. Sometime later we are in P13, but then the Spanish driver with the Mitsubishi approaches us one more time, goes to the inside, forces us to go out, and I take a wrong line, miss my braking point just a little bit, and, well, to be honest, screw up the whole corner right there. And it doesn't take long for another driver to already approach me. He gives me a bump going in this corner, so he overtakes me as well, and now we're in P15. Another driver comes knocking on the door, goes to the even to the outside. So now we're in P16, and here's already the next one that's knocking on the door. And at the last moment he goes to the inside and overtakes me. So we're back in P17. And then already the next driver comes knocking on my door, and he comes out of nowhere on the inside of this hairpin. And we're back in P18, right where we started. A little sometime later in lap 9, we approach the Indian driver again, because he made some mistakes during the last couple of corners. We maintain our line on the inside, and we can overtake him on the inside here. So at least we managed to take one position back. And that concludes the first race. So we started on P18 and ended on, well, P16 actually, because another driver fell off. But there has never been a better reason behind the sticker on my back, which says slow. But let's get right into the second race. This race we are starting in the 16th position, and again most of the cars in front there's quite a large gap between the qualifying times that I drove and the other cars in front. So we are starting the race and not really that much is happening. First corner we are approaching the driver in front just a little bit. We're starting on the same tires, by the way. Going to the inside. We brake just a little bit earlier, and the driver in the Ferrari just misses his brake point, which allows us to take P15. Then it takes some time for us to get closer to the group in front, but after the hairpin here, we're already right on their tails because they are fighting among themselves. And because the fighting is quite severe, it allows me to go right up in the inside, but we're not really through yet, as the German driver is still next to us. There's a bit of hugs and kisses exchanged between me and him, but we're still next to each other. Now he gets in front of me, I switch to the other side. Can get next to him again on the outside. but still I don't really manage to get that position. Now at the start-finish straight, we're right on his tail. He's covering the inside. I'm trying to take the ideal line and get a good cutback as we overtake two other drivers who went off into the gravel. So now we're next to him, and I take the inside line, brake a little later than him, and manage to get in front. But we're still having to defend though. So I take the defensive line here, and coming out of this hairpin, we finally secured our position. So now let's go a little bit to the front. So here we go in lap 4, and who do I see? The same Indian driver which gave me the bump in the last race. So I was thinking, yeah, I don't really feel like battling him right now, so I'm just going in for a tire change. And so we're out of the pit on fresh rubber, and now we're in P17. Some laps later, we rise to P10, overtaking the Indian right here. Well, not quite overtaking yet, apparently, but we go to the outside, overtake him, and now we're in P9, which is much further to the front than I would have ever hoped, looking at the qualifying times that I drove for this circuit. Now we're still having to defend on the Indian driver behind us, so we take the defensive line once again here. We get a little bump, but we still manage to get home, manage to keep our position. We take the inside line here as we're still under attack from the Indian driver behind us, and in the meanwhile another driver already joined the fun. So we're going down as the British driver overtakes the Indian driver, and then nothing really happens until we get to lap 8. And here we see the same German driver again, who we were having a battle with at the start of the race. Meanwhile, the British driver overtook us because, well, I'm guessing he has better tires, or just is basically a faster driver than me. That's also possible. And another driver comes whizzing by, but he's not really through yet. We're still next to each other, and I'm not really planning to give up my position that easily, so we go next to each other. I give him the space, but don't really let him through. But in the end he gets through, and here you can clearly see that my tires are, well, I don't really have the grip there. And already the next driver is knocking on my door. For the time being, however, we still manage to hold on to our position, but as we get to start-finish straight here, he of course gets the slipstream. I'm trying to defend on the inside, and on the last moment he decides to go on the inside too, misses his brake point, and goes off into the gravel. So fortunately we managed to hold on to P11, but now we're under attack from the British driver in the Ferrari. He takes the inside line. I defend quite harshly, to be honest. Take the defensive line there, although he was a bit far off. Now we're in the last lap. In the start-finish straight, he of course gets the slipstream, but don't really manage to overtake us. but he gets the ideal cutback from that corner. And because he has better traction, he overtakes me easily. And that concludes the second race. So the second race we drove from P16 to P12, which is considerably better than the first. But still it seems that I was driving way above my pay grade in these last couple of races. But despite those bad results, I still had some pretty good battles going on. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with these races. But anyway, this is all I have for you today. Hopefully see you in the next video.